No. Take that body and put it over there with the other. Oh shit. Hey, what up, y'all? This is Flatline the Demon, coming from Sin Music out of Cleveland, Ohio. And you are now listening to Uncovering the Underground, your 100% source for everything underground, with your host, Skippy Ickham.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Uncovering the Underground radio show, brought to you by First Angel Media and Brutal Business Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Skippy Ickham of Brutal Business Entertainment, and I do want to thank you for checking in tonight. If you're listening live or after the fact, please click the like, share, and follow buttons, because it helps us move up the podcast community rankings, keeps you in touch with all of the new shows that are dropping each and every week, and so much more. So click those buttons, share it around to your family and friends, and tell someone else about it. Means a lot to us. It does a lot for the show, and as I said, it keeps you in the loop, which is always a great thing. If you are listening tonight, make sure you do tune into our past episodes. This is episode number 50 tonight, the big 50, so we're very excited to be sharing that with you, and we got 49 other great episodes that you guys can click on and listen. A lot of great guests over time, so make sure you check that out. I really quick want to thank our sponsors, Tattooed Scumbag Apparel, and you can check them out at tattooedscumbag.com. They make everything from beanies and hats, hoodies, shirts, sweatpants, socks, and everything in between. Sponsor of mine, sponsor of the radio show, and as I say every week, I not only wear it on stage, I wear it at home when I'm lounging around, I wear it when I'm out doing my errands. They make good quality gear, good look to it, and if you're a tattooed scumbag like me, you're going to love it. So make sure you check them out. Use promo code BBE10 for 10% off your overall order, or even just a single purchase, and it's always a great way of saving money, supporting a good local Pittsburgh business and tattoo shop owner, I should say, and certainly would appreciate it. We want to thank Roush Designs, R3 Graphics, Legion Artworks, and 5 milligram artworks for all the work that they do for the show. Make sure you keep up to date with everything Brutal Business has got going on right now, from our events and music to our photography and modeling, our video game live stream team, horror reviews, radio shows, paranormal team and investigations, and much, much more. We're always bringing you a lot of great underground entertainment, and it's the one-stop shop for everything, and that's teambrutalbusiness.com. So we got a great guest on the line tonight, as we have every week, but tonight's going to be a little bit different. We bring you on bands, we bring you on rappers, models, authors, actors, but tonight we're switching it up a little bit. We are bringing on a fellow radio host of Replicon Radio, a show that I've been on personally myself a couple years back. Had a great time with these guys. They do a great job in the underground. Honestly, in my opinion, the best underground show as far as wicked underground music, interviews, and things of that nature. I've been following them for some time now, so to be able to bring Freaky P from Replicon on the show tonight was a no-brainer, and I think we're going to certainly have a fun time together. So make sure, if you haven't heard of Replicon or haven't checked them out, that you certainly do so, and I think you're going to like what you hear. They always have really great guests on, and we certainly got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm not even going to give a bio on this one. We're just going to jump right into it and start picking Freaky P's brain. So, P, what's up, man? Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
What up, man?
You just did like the sound effect that all modern rappers now use on stage, like Lil Wayne and
like
burr, 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 burr.
That was my intro. I had to intro myself.
I like that. And when you ain't got a DJ, you just got to do it. When you ain't got a DJ, you just do it. That's great, bro. Yeah. That's what's up. Just don't hurt yourself, man.
I know you can't see it. I'm trying to keep the volume. I'm trying to hide it, but it's so loud. Like the fireworks, there's sparklers, there's ladies dancing. Like, it's crazy.
Damn, man, you go all out for your interview on the show. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all those nice things you said about our show, by the way. It made me tear up a little bit.
Well, absolutely, brother. I mean, you've been at it for a while. You put in your time. You've earned your respect, and you certainly got it from me and a lot of the underground fans. We already got some of them tuning in here. So much love to Heather, Lindsay, Mark, and I thought I seen another one there. I don't know if I missed you, I'm sorry, but at least to those three right now, they're blasting the comments section on the show. Now, folks, if you're listening out there, one thing I didn't mention, you can listen from any platform that airs underground internet radio. So everything from Spotify to Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and everything in between. So make sure you listen where you feel most comfortable, but please keep in mind, if you do want to comment during the show, leave feedback, interact with just the things that we're talking about, or ask our guests questions each and every week live during the show, that must be done through Spreaker.com or through the Spreaker app, which is our hosting company. That's Spreaker. We have a bunch of people right now jumping in. Shit's going to get crazy tonight, so don't miss out on it. Jump in and join them. So, exactly what he said. Now, so why don't you tell us? I mean,
bro, before we talk about me, this is episode 50, man. What's up?
It is, man. Dope. It's thank you, brother. It's been a long time coming. I mean, I was doing a little bit of stuff with the company prior to this, and it just wasn't my flavor. Nothing against them, but it was kind of getting my feet wet before I jumped into my own thing. My whole plan all along was to start my own show, and then I was offered, "Hey, do you want to join our company for a show?" So I said, "Fuck it." These guys already have a fan base. Why don't we try it out? And I did that, and I realized instantly it's something I'm good at, something I love. And then whenever it went sour pretty quick with those guys, they closed their doors.
Yeah, other people suck.
Yeah, it's hard to count on other people. That's why, I didn't really want to do it from the get-go, but I'm like, hey, why not try it out? So whenever it all ended, I jumped out on my own, and it's just been a great ride ever since. I've had amazing people on the show, had amazing conversations. It's weird to look at because I did a recap of 2019 in January, and I looked back, and it said like something crazy like 217 hours of online radio, and I'm like, wow, I talked for 217 hours to people. I'm like, that's...
You don't want to know my number.
And I don't want to know your number, man. Your number's crazy, brother. And I'm just like, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, 217 hours of just nothing. But it's been a good 217 hours. And at this point, it's probably over 3. But, it's been a fun time coming, and it's been great to build up to 50. So thank you so much for being on episode 50. I think this is a great way of celebrating it, to to have what I feel is two of the absolute best underground radio shows out there kind of teaming up tonight for episode 50. So thank you very much.
Hell yeah, we're like a podcast Voltron.
That's it, man. When we assemble, watch the fuck out. We're taking out everybody.
Hell yeah. It's crazy because it seems like yesterday, bro, like, I don't, the listeners probably don't know this because they don't need to know it, but I'm going to tell them anyway, that you came to me when I met you, I think it's Strictly for the Wicked, asking me about programs and services to start this podcast.
Yeah.
And now here we are on episode fucking 50. That's dope. I like it. It's like full circle.
It's crazy how it always comes around full circle, man. It's really strange. Life does that in a lot of ways. I mean, more than we even realize sometimes and more than we even pick up on. But a lot of things in life come full circle and, you know, go right back to where they started and then pass it again and it's on its second loop. You know what I mean? So thank you for the advice in the past, and I'm glad that, you know, it worked out. I'm glad that you were able to come on the show tonight and that you guys are obviously still going very strong and just continuously growing and doing big things, which we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. But why don't we jump in and kind of give anyone that's listening out there right now that might not know about Replicon who you guys are, how it all got started, how long you guys been a company, and what led you up to this point now?
Oh, boy. Let's see. Where do I start? Where do I begin? Let's see. I guess should I begin at the start of Replicon or should I begin at the start of everything?
I say start with everything, brother. Let's hear your story.
My story. This is weird to me, by the way. As the tables have turned.
I like it. I like flip-flopping it.
I'll try to give you the cliff notes. So, essentially, obviously, I was just a fan of music. You know, I got in the like Juggalo scene and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I'm old. Fuck. Let's see. Okay, so I'm a fan of music. I had friends that were talented. They were in bands. I was like 16 years old, and I was like, y'all need to do more. You're talented. So as a 16-year-old kid, I became my friend's band's manager and started booking shows and getting them gigs. And so essentially through the years, that band split up. There was another band. At one point in time, I was managing two bands, a pop star and two rappers, one of which all the bands disassembled because, like we mentioned earlier, other people suck. So groups of people don't always work out.
I hear
but
that.
That was kind of my intro into music, like, you know, into any sort of scene and stuff. Is I always just wanted to help my friends, and I wanted to be a part of music, but I never really thought I had any sort of talent, like music-wise. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, we'll help you guys. You guys have talent. Let's do that. And that was awesome for a while. And then I started managing my good buddy Havoc, who actually got pretty popular in the Juggalo scene during the Underground Psychos contest, if you remember that, where Axe Murder Boys got signed and Boondocks was discovered. He was a vampire. He ended up in 6th place out of that whole contest.
Wow.
Which got us a lot of recognition. Yeah, it was super dope, man. And we got to play the Gathering. I was on stage doing wrestling moves, and I fucking hate wrestling. I can't stand it. But I got thrown through a table on stage like I was a cop, and I came out to try to arrest them. We did like stage gimmicks, and it was awesome, man. We went on tour with Afro Man a couple times, the Funk Junkies. We did a tour with Vanilla Ice. And nothing crazy. Like, it wasn't that cool. It was like, you know, like the longest thing we did was like 2 weeks with Vanilla Ice or something.
Wow, that's
and it was like like a regional thing. It was awesome. It's just not as cool as it sounds. But it was super cool. Like, we're doing all this stuff. We got the cover of the Riverfront Times, which is like a big local paper in St. Louis. We're doing all that stuff. So like, it was me and him. I ended up DJing. I started DJing. The R&B, like, pop artist guy who was my friend, who was actually the original lead singer of the band that I first started managing, was a punk band, became a pop singer, and we were trying to get him out, and he met this DJ who DJs for, like, sorority parties and shit, and he was like, you know, no homo, but he was like an attractive guy, and he sang fucking R&B song. let's put him in front of these sorority girls. They'll eat this shit up. So we did, and they did. And the DJ guy, I didn't think he was that good. I mean, he was okay, but I was like, why are you playing this? And why? Like, I was just judging the hell out of him. And eventually it led into me filling in for him. Then I became a DJ, and then I became Havoc's DJ and manager, which is, he's the one that named me Freaky P. It's not even a cool story. It's just like, you need a name. And he went through this whole like 2 weeks of all these different fucking names, and he just decided that Freaky P worked based on some tour stories of my behavior. So that Havoc ended up naming me, and then so then I became a DJ, and then that became my job. Like, I DJ'd at clubs 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 nights a week, and do clubs and different stuff like that. And then so Havoc was still doing music. Everyone else had kind of dissipated. You know what I mean? We grow old, bands break up, people get jobs, and you know they don't explore their passions and shit anymore. And then we're still doing stuff here and there, but it wasn't like as big as it was in the past. And he kind of was going downhill in his life. And there was an ad on Craigslist for looking for radio shows. Swear to God. And I actually just posted, I don't know, probably a month or two ago, I posted on the Replicon page my literal pitch for a radio show. And this is long before, like, podcasts were a thing. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know what year it was. It was a long time ago.
I remember you posted a post. I seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I made all this shit up in my head. Like, that ad inspired me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was something I never really thought of. But I was like, oh, how dope would this be if we did the fucking Havoc and Freaky P show? We did underground shit, and we sent them a pitch, and they liked it. I don't know if it was because they liked it or they just wanted our money or whatever the situation was. But we got the fucking radio show. We started doing it. It was dope. We ended up getting a huge sponsor. It was called The Underground with Havoc and Freaky P long before all the other shows called The Underground existed. I mean, there may have been, but like I said, podcast sort of thing. And, like, he was kind of a local celebrity at that point. So, like, we got sponsors pretty easy. And then this one group, Smoking Stuff, was like a smoke shop, head shop type deal. They basically bought the show. And they were paying us like $1,500 a month to do our radio show, which was fucking crazy. Still to this day, it blows my mind.
That's crazy, bro. That's awesome, though, that happened. I mean, think of the change in direction or the change in your path that had kind of put you on. It was an idea, and then all of a sudden it became a reality, and then it was like, oh shit, we're actually getting paid to do this, and then it kind of led to the passion to make it bigger and badder. So I mean, that's really dope that it kind of led you that way.
It was fucking cool. And honestly, like my idea was to do what Replicon's doing now, but it didn't work that way. That's not what we did. I think we did, I don't know, we were probably around I don't know, I honestly don't, I wish I knew. We were around probably a couple years doing that show, and I think we maybe did like 7 interviews.
Okay.
It was a lot of just chaos, a lot of partying. We ended up bringing other people in. It became Smoking Stuff Radio, and like a couple of those guys were on the show. And then we got these like punk rock guys, and the one guy was like our news guy. Like we had this whole deal. We were trying to be like Howard Stern, shock rock. We'd like beat each other up. We'd shoot each other with paintballs, fucking taser. We did blindfolded taser tag with fucking taser. Like we did all kinds of stupid shit.
Okay.
It was fun. Don't get me wrong. We had a great time. There's all kinds of fucked up stories. I don't even know, man, but it was a good time. It went well. I loved every second of it. The radio station ended up like going under. We made friends with another show that was there, and they went out and they created their own station, and it was Party Animal Radio, and they wanted us to come because obviously we were the biggest show on the previous platform. So we started going over there. And I actually started doing, me and my homie Big Roo, who's part of Replicon, we started like right before the radio station went under. They were trying to not go under, so they basically just gave us like creative control of whatever we wanted to do at any open hours. So like we would do our show, and if we were drunk enough, we'd end up staying there. We were really drunk back then. Like I would drink a fifth of vodka on air.
Damn.
It was bad. But so our show would end, and then we would do like extra secret shows after that.
Okay.
And then we started doing like that show was on Sundays, I believe, the big show, and then like Thursdays, all of a sudden it was the Keeping It Freaky. It was my own show, and then Big Roo. I brought Roo down to be my co-host, which is where Big Roo started doing radio because he was just a homie. He was actually, I don't want to tell his story, but he was the homie from high school, and when Havoc was getting popular, we needed security. So he came down because he was just a big guy and started doing security for Havoc, and we were just drunk one night, just being stupid, and like, I don't even know, we're just like, fucking, this Kenny over here bouncing motherfuckers like a big-ass kangaroo, motherfucking Big Roo, like that's where his name came from. It was just us like drunk, not necessarily freestyling like rap, but just, being silly in the car, saying he's bouncing motherfuckers like a kangaroo. And then that's where the name Big Roo came from.
You know what? They come out of the most, unseen and unthought about places. Usually, is that's when it just hits you. It hits you. You know what I mean? So that's funny that you guys both kind of got your name randomly. It wasn't something that necessarily was thought out or planned out ahead of time. But once it came down to it, it just kind of happened. It fell into place.
Yeah. It just worked. It worked out. It worked out great. It's funny. So that was my first like attempt at my own thing, and then I actually was like the producer. Our news guy was big into punk rock, so they started a punk rock show on another night, and I would come down and basically run the boards, and I'd be like their Jamie to Rogan or whatever, like I chime in every once in a while, and so that was fun. So I learned a lot, you know what I mean? Like I was learning how to do shit and all this, and by the meantime, I'm still a fan of the underground, so I'm just out there meeting people, talking to people. Obviously, with Havoc doing shows, like it's crazy. Like later in life, when I had a relationship with like Magic Ninja and stuff, now George gave me his phone number, and it was already saved in my phone as George Psychopathic because he was the fucking stage manager at the Gathering when Havoc played.
Okay.
So it's crazy. Like I like had these relationships with these people, sorta, and it all came back around later, like again, full circle type shit. So like I was building these relationships, not even realizing that they would like help me essentially later, I guess. But where am I? I don't know. Fuck.
I was just gonna say you were with the second radio show after the one went under. You kind of guys separated out.
So they went under. Yeah, so we went over to Party Animal. Havoc wasn't really coming around that much. He got really into drugs and stuff, and was like on a downhill slope. I don't really want to talk too much about his things, but we kept it going, man. And it was me. Rue would come down, and then we were I was still doing the punk rock guys came with me, so we were doing that at Party Animal, and then a lot of things happened over there. But these guys were super shady and ignorant as people. Coming to find out, I did another tour. We did it was Boondocks, Cousin Cletus, Trey Pounds, and then Dark Half later. They weren't on the portion of the tour I was on. But me and the owner of the Party Animal booked like a week of this tour, and we were like the hosts. You know what I mean? They were just trying to make money and get the show out there and all that. And he tried to rip them off, and they almost whooped his ass. Like the tour crew almost whooped this dude's ass, and they were gonna throw him in the back of the U-Haul and like dump him in a river and shit. And I had to stop it and like make friends, and I went out and like had to spend my own money on a bunch of shit like to make. But then I ended up like becoming really good friends with Trey Pounds. Like he's my fucking homie. Like I used to go to Detroit and I'd crash at his house. Like shout out to fucking Trey Pounds all day. But I came like but now these people knew that I was like legit. You know what I mean? Like they're like, that dude's a piece of fuck, but Freaky P's a good dude. And like that, you know what I mean? The more of like relationship building type stuff. So the Party Animal, I realized after that, I was like, we can't fucking do a show at this place anymore. And the show ended. Like everything stopped. Like I said, podcasts weren't really a thing at the time.
Think of how crazy it is that podcasts weren't a thing, and then all of a sudden they came out, and it's like in a matter of several short years, and it just fucking exploded.
Yeah, it's nuts. It sometimes it makes me mad because I'm like, why didn't I get the fucking shit together back then and do it right like we're doing it now? I can only imagine where the fuck you know what I'm saying? Like,
hindsight's 2020,
like
brother.
Even though, like, yeah, it's like even when when the shop was paying us, it's still. I mean, we took it serious, but not that serious. Like we were fucking hammered, drunk, and having a good time. We were getting a lot of people listening because, like I said, Havoc was kind of like a juggalo celebrity at the time. You know what I mean? Like, and we did have some cool interviews. I mean, the interviews we did, they were cool. Like, honest to God, our first episode ever, we actually it was like Havoc was one of those dudes that would just walk into a place and own it immediately. Like he was just good at that shit. Like, even if he wasn't like a quasi celebrity, people would believe he was, no matter what. Like, we would walk into clubs and act like we're fucking some sort of VIP celebrity and get free drinks, and they'd give us free VIP. Like, we see some crazy shit when we were kids, and people just believed we were supposed to be there. But we went to our first interview was a Busy Bone interview that we did before the show even was a show. We're just like, oh, we're doing this show. And, like, showed up at Pops and fucking interviewed Busy Bone. Like, we own the fucking place.
That's pretty dope, though, man. That's a hell of a first guest.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. I was like, holy shit. And it sucks because I don't have fucking any of this shit anywhere. Like, it was all fucking... the Smoking Stuff guy says he has, like, a hard drive with some of the stuff on it, but none of those early ones because they weren't a part of it. But even then, like, nothing was recorded. It was... I don't even know, man. We were stupid. We got videos, some of the videos we took, like the taser tag and all that. We recorded that on video, as well as we had mics in our hands, so we're live on air, hurting each other, talking, and we're videoing. So we have those videos, so we don't have like the guests.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, man. Getting tasered while holding a electronic mic in your hand's probably not the best thing to do.
While blindfolded.
Yeah, that's definitely a good possibility of death. I mean, if it short circuits that mic out, you're gonna get fucking blasted to death.
Oh, we were so dumb, bro. I still, even talking about it, my nipple hurts. I got fucking tased right on my nipple. Oh, that shit hurts so bad.
I'm sure, man. Fuck that. I've been tasered before, but never on my nipple, so I'm gonna pass on that. Yeah,
it was no good. But yeah, we had some cool. Now now that I'm talking about it, I'm remembering. Like, we had this. It's funny because some of these people we had are actually more popular now. Like, we had Brandon Hot Sauce Glover, who's like a comedian who actually is fairly big now. He was just like a local dude. We had Spade Ripper. I remember this. We had Spade Ripper and Stevie Stone scheduled because they're both from the area, and Stevie Stone didn't make it because the day they were on our show was the day they announced he got signed to Strange Music, and he had to go to like Kansas City and do like press thing or something.
Well, backstory on that real quick, not that specific episode, it would have been years later, but the time that you had me on the show, I believe, unless I'm mixing myself up, but I don't think I am, you actually had me and Spade Ripper on the show together for my episode a few years back.
Yeah. I think you're right, yeah.
Pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty crazy, though, man. I mean, you have someone like Stevie Stone. I mean, even Spade Ripper as well, but I'm saying, like, Stevie Stone is going to be on your show, and he's like, sorry, bro, I can't because I'm about to sign a fucking major contract and become a legend. You know what I mean?
And we just had him on the first time a couple months ago, too, so that's cool.
I love Stevie Stone, man. I haven't listened to him in a minute, but, I mean, I've listened to all of his albums, other than he probably dropped one since I last have, but, I mean, I've always loved his sound.
He just dropped 2 EPs.
Oh, did he? Okay.
He dropped 2 EPs in the last couple months.
Well, you know what? Tomorrow on the way to work, I'll be pulling those up because I'm always listening to new shit, and I've always loved Stevie Stone's sound. It's very different. I don't think there's really anybody else that sounds like him.
And they both feature Spade Ripper.
Oh, great. Well, that's what's up, man. He's dope, too. I've always really enjoyed his music, and it was cool to be on the show with him that night, way back when.
Yeah. I've always liked Stevie, but to be 100% honest, I was never... Like, there's a lot of people I'm like, oh, yeah, they're good, and I just don't listen to them.
Yeah, no, I understand.
He was one of them until we interviewed. Like, this happens all the time with me. I don't know if it happens with you and your guys, but like, it's like either I re-fall in love or I fall in love for the first time when I actually talk to and get to know these people, and then their music is so much better to me, and it's like, I mean, like that happened with him, like talking to him, hanging out with him, getting to know him. I'm like, oh God, I love this shit. And then I hear it and it sounds different. It sounds better. I enjoy it.
And that's, I'm glad you said that, because that really is the point. And I mean, that's especially the point of my show specifically. I can't speak for yours, but that was always kind of the point, is to uncover the underground, bring great guests to the masses out there so they can discover new people or find out about someone they already like, but they actually hear about them. Because how many artists do you listen to, but you know not a fucking thing about them? And then all of a sudden you're finding out who they are as a person, as an artist, how they got started, the hardships that they went through. And then next time you play their album, all of a sudden, even though you've heard it before, it just sounds different. Something happens. It flicks that switch, and you're like, well, shit, I like this fucking dude, so now I like his music even more because it resonates with me. Or, in some rare cases, I hate this motherfucker's music now because he's just a fucking dirtball. You know what I mean? Like, I can't listen to him anymore because this guy's an asshole as a person.
That's funny.
Not that that's ever happened to any of our guests, folks.
No, absolutely
fucking
not.
Spaghetti Man that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. Eating. It's funny because I got some Taco Bell because I was like, oh, I need to eat. And I was like fucking chowing it down because I was like, I got to hurry up.
So
I don't want
folks,
to eat on the air, but then I was like, shit, I'm going to have heartburn from all this fucking buffalo chicken nacho fries, man.
Yeah, Freaky P is going to be fucking having a hard time in a restroom after this is done. But if you don't know what we're talking about out there, I had a guest on the show. I won't use any names or anything, but I had a guest on the show who, for some reason, found it appropriate to eat food the entire interview, and he was slurping spaghetti or some type of fucking noodle in the entire interview. I'd be like, so what is it that, got you started, or what was the hardest moment that you faced, in your music career? Well, I mean, it would have to be, and there was like breaks in between his words like that, and I mean, the whole fucking interview was painful, and it's like, it literally took everything in me to get through it. So every now and again you get a guest like that, but honestly I got to be, truthful in the fact that I've always had really fun times and great interviews with everybody I've had on the show. Even that one had its own moments, but that'd probably be the only one that I would kind of nix out if I could. But no, it's kind of funny. So I'm glad that you respected the rule of no eating during the show. Thank you.
I do got my Polar Pop though. Polar Pop gang all day.
That's all right, man. You go ahead for that. I'm cool with that, but. No spaghetti. Spaghetti is forbidden on Uncovering the Underground.
No spaghetti.
No fucking
Even
spaghetti
if
here.
What if it's Eminem? What if it's Eminem and he's eating mom's spaghetti?
He's allowed to have some on his sweater already, but not any, during the show.
That's too bad.
Now, talking about Eminem real quick, I'll let you finish your story, but talking about Eminem, I just have to get it since, you just brought it up. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? If you are, what do you think of his new album, if you've heard it? Because I know there's been a lot of talk about it. Everybody says he's washed up, he's done. Other people said he still has it. What's your take on it? Because it seems to be a huge debate in the underground across, all platforms.
Really? I've always loved Eminem since day one.
Me too.
Even being a juggalo and going through that whole fucking thing, I didn't care. I thought it was funny.
Well, I mean, truth be told, he fucking destroyed ICP on the disses. I mean, I don't care who the fuck you are. I mean, they had some funny ass shit back towards them, but I mean, come on now. I mean,
for sure.
You can't really compare.
Like even back then, like I was like super hardcore juggalo, like, and I was like, oh fuck Eminem. Even then, I was like, this is actually good for ICP. Like Eminem's platinum, selling millions of records. Talking about Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope. Now, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope have a whole bunch more people being like, who are they?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's good. It was good for them. And it was funny. Like, I don't care who you are, that's funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we talk shit. This whole new world is stupid. I don't even want to get on this, but.
Oh, no, man. We do live in dumb times right now.
But we talk shit, man. Like, you talk shit to your friends, you talk shit here, you talk shit there, it's talking shit. And that shit was fun. You know what I mean? Obviously, sometimes things get escalated, and that's not okay. I don't want fucking, like, gangster, like, people getting shot and shit. None of that. But, like, you're just talking shit, and it was funny. Like, Ken Kenneth getting a fucking blowjob from Faggy, too. Like, that shit's hilarious.
I think that shit was funnier than any of the things he said in any of the songs back at ICP. I think the Ken Kniff thing was funnier than anything.
So give me back the Shaggy. He's sucking it better. Like, oh, they're fucking dying, dude. That's just hilarious.
That is fucking funny. I mean, he's always done a good job, obviously, at roasting everybody he's ever won against. He's ended many careers. Now, you can say, everybody always says Eminem crushed every career that of anybody he's ever won against. Well, that's not necessarily true. ICP still did very well for a while after that. Now, as far as nowadays, I mean, personally, I don't listen to any of their music anymore. Once upon a time, during the original 5 Jokers cards, I certainly did, but after that, I kind of lost feel.
6 Jokers cards, but calm down. 6 Jokers cards.
No, I know there's 6, but I'm saying the first 5 I listened, and when the 6th one dropped, I was like, I'm done. The 6th one was the nail in the coffin where I'm like, I'm probably never going to listen to these dudes again. And I don't. And I'm the first one to tell anybody I'm not a juggalo, and I never claimed to be, but I have nothing against them. I'm just saying it just lost its feel for me. I have a lot of love for the family and a lot of love for the juggalos out there. I just never have been one, but I appreciated what they were doing, and then it's like once the 6th card dropped, I'm like, well... Or actually, I should say that backwards. No, because if I'm thinking correctly, it's been some time, but the 6th was a 2-parter, correct?
Yeah. Shangri-La and Hell's Pit.
Yeah, I liked Hell's Pit. Shangri-La I thought was fucking butt juice.
You're just a devil worshiper. Boo!
I just wasn't feeling it, man. I just wasn't feeling it at all. But I mean, what I was going to get at with that is he's destroyed everybody he's ever went against, but he didn't destroy them. They kept going in an underground scene and did well, whereas a lot of other people just fell off. But I mean, even recently with Machine Gun Kelly, I mean, I'm a fan of his music to the sense that I think Machine Gun Kelly's good. I've performed with him before and shit. I don't really listen to his stuff, but he fucking wrecked him. I mean, he absolutely wrecked him.
Oh, MGK wrecked Eminem, or
no,
Eminem
vice versa.
MGK?
Vice versa, yeah. Eminem wrecked MGK.
Yeah, but he's still working. He ain't hurting.
He ain't hurting. I mean, I knew that one wouldn't go away because he's got the fucking women fans out there that are like devout. You know what I mean? They're like, I would do anything for this guy, and I'm like, okay. I mean, he's good, but he ain't that
good. He's getting that acting money now. He don't even care.
Oh yeah, he is doing well in the acting thing. I mean, I really like Dirt. I thought Dirt was a very good movie for Motley Crue.
It was good. Yeah.
I like that a lot. Then Birdcage and shit, which his role in that was kind of weird, but that movie in general was just kind of fucking strange.
He's getting that Netflix money, man.
Netflix is the wave. It's the future right now. But let's jump back. I don't want to sidetrack us. I just had to kind of go on a little tangent there, what you thought of the new album, because I personally think the new album is fucking genius.
I love Eminem. I always have. There was a moment there that he was. I still loved him, but he wasn't the greatest, in my opinion.
Yeah, he did fall off a little bit.
Yeah, no, fucking music to be murdered by. It's fucking fantastic.
You want to hear something crazy?
When that Darkness dropped, bro, like that came out like the same time with the video. I watched that fucking video before I listened to anything or saw anything else. That shit like kicked me in the chest, like, and most music doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah,
that shit. I was like, whoa, like holy shit.
No, it really did, bro. Because I got to be honest with you, I had woke up to go to work and was getting ready, and I seen a comment. Someone said, Eminem album dropped out of nowhere. Check out this Darkness video. And I'm like, oh shit. And I remember getting ready for work, but I took the time, before jumping in the shower to click on play, and I sat down for a minute and watched the full video. And I sat there, and after it was done, I'm like, holy fuck. I mean, the visuals, the double entendres throughout it about obviously shooting up a crowd, but at the same time, he's not talking about shooting up a crowd. He's talking about, I mean, it's just like his double and triple meanings on everything and how deep that was. And I'm like, well, anybody that fucking thinks he fell off, that right there proves it. And then he dropped the album. I listened to the album later that day. And then you still have people talking shit, all this fucking stuff's garbage. And I'm like, dude, then you do it. Let me see you do it.
Right. I would say it's funny because, like, if in my mind, I'm like, I love it, but then when I actually take it, it's like a 50-50. Like, the half of that record I love. The other half, it's where he's like doing the new style type rap.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't dislike it. It's not my favorite. But the other half, the half I do like, I love. Like, it's so good. Like when he fucking kills his stepdad, I love that shit. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that was a great track. And I mean, here's the thing. I loved everything about that album, even the features I didn't like. I've never listened to Juice WRLD in my life. I heard he passed away.
Yeah.
I never still didn't listen to his music. But then I heard it on that track, and I think that Godzilla track's killer. The only track I didn't really care for was number 2, and it had Little Ma or whatever her name is, and I just really wasn't feeling her verse. I think that shouldn't have probably made the album, but I mean, that's just my personal opinion. No hate against her. I think she's actually very dope. I just think for an Eminem album, she could have come a lot harder. So when I listen to the verse, I'm like, that shit could have, you could have passed on that for like someone much smaller, but you're on Eminem, you better bring like your fucking God lyrics out. And she didn't. So, I think that was kind of a sore spot on the album for me, but other than that, I rank it pretty high in the rankings, and I think that he certainly did well. But I get what you're saying with some of the newer styles and patterns and things he did. I'm like, but I get it. He's adapting to the time a little bit. I mean, here's at the end of the day, he's still being him, but he's not dumb. He knows what he needs to do to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I have people saying, yeah, he is sexy as fuck, and they're talking about UP.
Oh, hey, thanks.
I'm putting down, he is a sexy beast. That's what I just said back to him. You got all kinds of comments pouring in here. I can't even stay with them, so I'm not even trying to fucking read them right now.
Chubby chasers.
But why don't you go back and tell us?
Where were we?
You were about to tell us how Replicon started. We got through both the companies that you were with originally, and then we were leading into the podcast side, and then we kind of got sidetracked.
Yeah, so bad shit happened with Party Animal, and then everything just kind of stopped. Like radio show wise, like I was still DJing, and then I started working normal jobs and just being a normal guy and just going to shows. And I'd always talked about doing a show again, and like me and Rue would talk about it, and the shit cost money and time, and we didn't have equipment. You know what I mean? We were always working for someone else. It was like, what the fuck? And it was just always kind of something we talked about. And then obviously I'm still going to shows and going to underground shows, and then. My homie One Eye Jay he started doing a radio show, which was actually, I don't know if it started as Replicon, but he started Replicon Radio. It was him and a bunch of other people that I don't recall.
I actually think he's on the comments right now, if I believe so, because I've seen somebody talking about One Eye someone, and I just couldn't stay with the comments, and the one guy I think is him, so he might be listening in right now.
Well, shout out, what's up, One Eye? But yeah, it was his show. He was doing it, and he was doing it at this new studio. I'm not going to mention their name. Okay, whatever. He was doing it at some studio. He's like, yeah, it's dope. You should come down, blah, 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 and hang out. And I was like, we talked a couple times, and I was like, I've been thinking about bringing back my show, like doing the Keeping It Freaky thing or whatever again, or like whatever we call it. I mean, I didn't know what. I was just like thinking about how do I do it again. He's like, well, you should come do it there. It's dope. And I was like, maybe I'll come check it out. And I didn't. And then a little while later, he's like, dude, come down and check it out. And I didn't. and then he was like, hey, man, for real. He's like, whether you like the fucking studio or you want to start your own show or whatever it is, that's fine. But will you at least come down and, like, help us? He's like, I think we need some help. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll come check it out. And then, like, if it's dope, we can, maybe we'll do a show at this studio and bring it back. And I told Kenny about it, Rue, and I was like, I'm going to come down and we'll see how it goes. And I think at the exact same time, you have to talk to Tony, Dead Body Man. But it was right around the same time period, he asked Tony to come down and hang out. And Tony came, and me and Tony, we knew each other, but we weren't really friends. We actually disliked each other for a long time over some bullshit, but
good friendships usually start that way.
Yeah. Well, it was a misunderstanding about someone else. So once we realized it was a misunderstanding, we kind of had respect for each other for the reasons that we didn't like each other. You know what I mean? Like, because if what happened, what we were told on each end of the story were true, then we were both being fucking like respectful dudes and like. Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, so we became friends. So Tony, I think he went down there like a week before I did, and then I showed up, and then me and him kind of bonded on how terrible it was. And I was like I walked in, I sat there, Like, you can actually go back. They're online. Don't do it. Don't go back. But there's old episodes of that version of the show. You probably hear me say like 3 words or something. Because it was terrible. It was so bad. Like, no disrespect to those guys. They were just in there. They were just in there yelling at each other. There was no rhyme, no reason. They never had guests. They didn't, which you don't have to have guests to have a show, but they didn't have anything. They were just yelling at each other. Half the time they were getting real life arguments on air, and it was just madness. And I was like, y'all don't even have headphones. Like, you don't have, like, nothing. Like, they had nothing. I was like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I was trying to help, and, like, they'd get mad and blah, 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 blah. So this went on for a few weeks. Like, Jay'd be like, come back down. And I'd be like, because at first I was like, y'all are fucked. Like, I ain't doing this. I don't want to be down there. He's like, no, man, just help us out. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, and I'll talk to the guy. We can see about getting you on the show. And so at that point, I was still in my head. I wanted to do my own thing. But he was like, no, just help us. Like, help me. He's like, he didn't want those guys there either because he wanted to do something cool with the underground, and he knew I was super in the underground. So, like, eventually, all those guys left. I don't know if they just got mad at us. They didn't like what we were doing. So then it was like me, Tony, and this other dude who was supposed to be, he was like the producer. Like, he was the guy that ran the boards for the studio.
Okay.
And I don't honestly don't remember what happened to him. He was kind of a jackass. But we kind of were like, it was really awkward and strange. We were kind of doing a thing, and it was a little bit of the same. It was like a mix of people yelling over each other and a mix of us, me and Tony, trying to, like, make it professional and, like, make it good and make it something. And then the other guy ended up doing his own thing. He didn't want to be a part of the show. Like, it got to a point where everyone thought they could be a part of the show. Like, the guy that's hanging out in the studio, the guy, the engineer's buddy, everyone, like, they had this idea, I guess, in the past, it was just a free-for-all. And then when we decided we wanted to make structure, we're like, no, it's not a fucking free-for-all. If you're part of the show, you're part of the show. Like, we're not kicking anybody out. It's not our place to kick anybody out, but it's not a fucking just random guy over here gets to talk. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to be professional here, and I guess everyone kind of didn't care for that. I know one of the guys ended up passing away. Rest in peace to that guy. I wish I remembered his name. I apologize. Seems really disrespectful. But
hey, man, it happens, man. If you didn't know him that well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd only met him once or twice just because he was there those first couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, hey,
so
he got to be a part of it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a shit ton of people who's, now that we're, like, doing stuff that I guess at some point maybe showed up on an old episode and think they have some sort of claim. But that's a lot of fucking drama that we're way past. But, so there ended up being me, Tony, and One-Eyed Jay, and there was a fourth seat. I was like, me and Rue, it was going to be me and Rue starting our own thing. If we're going to hang out with you guys, I might as well see if Rue wants to join. And Rue came down, and even at that point, he was still like, bro, like, what the fuck is really going on here? Like, this is a fucking madhouse. I'm like, I know, but we're going to try and fix it, And then we tried, we kind of, we did that for a while, a couple of weeks, probably a few months, actually. I made everybody get headphones, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're moving in the right direction. We tried to learn it was a mess, man. Even the early episodes, like, you could hear Big Roo and One-Eyed Jay literally getting into fights, almost fist fights on the air. It was a madhouse. But we worked through it, and we sat down, we had meetings, we're like, this is what we need to do, we got to structure the show. We tried to bring back segments that I used to do, like, for a while, we would prank call hookers. And it was something we were all extremely uncomfortable with, but we did it just to we wanted it to be funny, we wanted to have content, we were trying, I was like, it worked for us on the old show, people loved it, it was like but it was uncomfortable for us. It was,
man, I think you should definitely bring back the calling of hookers.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fucking hilarious. It's just so uncomfortable.
Oh, man, that's good shit. Well, before you finish the rest of that story, we're going to take our first break. I went a little longer than I normally would without a break, so we're going to jump into one real quick, and then when we come back, we're definitely going to pick back up on the phone calls to hookers. We're going to jump into, let's see, I'm going to grab Last House by the Cemetery by Isolated Beings. If you missed the episode recently with these guys, they were talking about their new upcoming album, everything that they got going on, and just last week, I believe it was, they dropped the video for Last House by the Cemetery. So here is that track and the title of that album. Make sure you check them out and give them a like and a follow, and we'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
In this house, what you don't know will hurt you.
There's a house down the road where I like to hang, next to a cemetery, let the doorbell ring. Take a step inside, have a seat in my living room. Prisoner of doom, wicked shit is what I'm giving you. Murder on the menu, drag you down the hallway. Up all night, cause I sleep all day. Feeding off your misery, I wanna see you suffer. Giving bitches injuries, I'm sick, motherfucker. I'm filled with hate. By my front gate, I masturbate when I seal your fate. I knock the life out your ass, stick my knife in your ass. When I slice, it's precise, slice, I'm lightning, they crash. Body parts in my garage, it's that Baltimore butcher. Sneak a peek inside my cellar, it's a bunch of dead hookers. Got bones hanging from the ceiling, watch them decompose. Getting drunk with the spirits, fucking chilling with the ghosts. Home sweet home, flesh and bones, fresh tombstones at the house by the cemetery.
Time to reap what you have sown. You are not alone. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery.
Smoking on that graveyard cushion, bloody Mary Jane. I'm insane, so the rain. Zombie Kurt Cobain, wicked shit in my veins. Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne. Blood drains, leave a stain. Dead girls on a chain. Acid rain, we retain at the top. Baltimore horrorcore, this is our domain. With the butane, call me Kane. No brain, no pain. This is all part one.
I wanna play a game.
Eyes wide out with the fangs. Cemetery thanks, bitch, you know the name. Murder's what we slang. Chaos, war games, you cannot contain, you cannot restrain, even with a straight jacket. Bodies are stacking, looking like a graveyard. On my property, and there's no holds barred. Selling bones, black crows, where you go, no one knows that the crib keeper got you when you're never coming.
Home sweet home, flesh and bones, fresh tombstones at the house by the cemetery.
Time to reap what you have sown. You are not alone. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery. Home sweet home, flesh and bones, fresh tombstones at the house by the cemetery.
Time to reap what you have sown. You are not alone. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery. Welcome to the house by the cemetery.
Welcome to the house. Last house
by the cemetery. Wicked Syndicate.
All right, folks, that was Last House by the Cemetery by the group Isolated Beings. As I said, we recently had them on the show, so make sure you go back and check out that interview. It's definitely an awesome one. And if you haven't been listening in until now, we have Freaky P from Replicon Radio, a good friend of mine and someone that I've been certainly looking forward to having on the show. We've been kicking it with him for almost an hour now, talking about the build-up and history of Replicon and how he got started in the radio side of things. We talked about some other great topics like Eminem's new album and the beef over the years and things going on, and we still got a good bit more to talk about. So if you've missed it, don't fret. You can certainly listen back after the live portion ends. You can go back and stream it from the beginning, but as of right now, you were stuck listening to us live. You can't rewind. So if you missed it, shame on you. Yeah.
Right.
But
it's crazy we were talking for so long.
Yeah, we have been, man. It always flies. Time always flies when you're having a good time. So I appreciate you, like I said, coming on the show. But we're gonna pick back up. I don't want to miss a beat with this. Let's talk about some hookers. So you were calling hookers, you said.
Yes.
And then how did you top that? I mean, obviously, if you were doing that on a show, what came next?
What came what?
What came after that? I mean, how do you top phone calls to hookers live on the air?
Well, like I said, that was something we used to do. We and Havoc and like the other slew of characters we did on the show. A lot of those guys were way better. They did like impersonations and different weird shit. Like we had some crazy shit. So we tried to do it again, and we had some fun moments. But it was really uncomfortable for me and Tony and Rue to do it. So like we would force each other to do it. So like if I had to do it, y'all had to do it, and it worked for a while, but it was just uncomfortable. And essentially, the idea was to get us, cohesive and together, you know what I mean? And we got there for the most part, most of the time. I would say probably 70, 80% of the time we got to the point where we were finally good and we could interact with each other and banter with each other and, start supporting the underground. We talk about news in the underground. Essentially, we would just that's what we would do. We'd talk about our opinions, and I was like, we need to start getting gassed and doing this and doing that. That was always my thing. And the first show we ever did, I believe, with guests was I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. It was like a local thing. There was like a battle of the bands, a battle of the rappers to open for ICP, and like half of them were our homies, and then the other half were people we didn't really know. So I was like, because they were doing a battle of the bands to see who gets to open for ICP, and then like the week or two after that, or whenever it was with the ICP show. So I was like, well, so I guess a week or two before the actual battle, I was like, let's get them all on the show, and we'll do the fucking weigh-in. And we'll say this is the fucking weigh-in for the battle. So with that was cool. That was fun. I got to meet one of my fucking great homies now, Will FM, who's been a huge supporter of Replicon, who helped us out a lot. We met him that day because he was one of the guys in the battle. And then our first official interview, which a lot of people have given us shit, or at least given me shit about, was just funny. It was fucking Kevin Gill.
Okay.
It was like the first Replicon radio interview outside of local acts. And it was great. He was super positive. He was all about that PMA. That's when he was doing the Kevin Gill show, and he was on ICP Theater. So, I mean, like he was doing stuff, and he was kind enough to do the show with us. And that's kind of where, and it was all juggalo. I mean, it was all about the juggalo stuff. So then it was like, all right, cool, we're gonna do this. And back then I couldn't get people every week. It was hard. I had to reach out and find people and knowing who the hell we were. And we were trying to come up with cool ideas. And, it became the focal point of the show. Like, I was like, this is, because to me, as a fan of these people, it was dope. I want to get to know them myself. I want to learn more about them myself. At the time, I didn't feel like really no one else was doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to do it, so we did it. And then I ended up getting Missy from the Big Money Hustlers on the show. We got Vinny the ICP kid on, and he's one of my fucking super homies now too. We had met a couple times, but not really. And then we got Choco on the show. Like, are you familiar with these people?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know since you're all,
I mean, come on now. I still
joking, people. I'm giving them shit.
I still stay pretty familiar with the scene. It's just, like I said, it's weird because, I mean, people are always like, well, you're such a big ICP fan. I mean, you are a juggalo, bro. And I'm like, but I'm not. I don't really call myself that. I don't associate with that. I'm just kind of weird like that. Like, I really was a huge fan there for a very long time, for many years, knew every word to probably, 10 different ICP albums, listened to Twisted, listened to just, Dark Lotus and a lot of the scene at that point, but I just never considered myself part of the family. I don't know. It's just, I've always been kind of the strange side kid to myself,
Yeah, I hear you.
Which would actually make me a perfect juggalo, but I just wasn't,
Hell yeah, absolutely. That's what you're supposed to do. Do your own thing. Make up your own.
That's it, man.
ideas.
Just do your own thing. And if something you mentioned, I certainly resonate with is the beginning stages of the show is a pain in the ass to find week after week guests. Now at this point it's going pretty good, so I don't have to worry about that. People are coming to me, and it's booking pretty steadily, and I can pick and choose who is a right fit for the show. But yeah, the first.
I was gonna say you had me booked for like 3 months, bro. You're like killing it over there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm booked right now until the middle of June right now, so it's going pretty good. But I mean, I remember the first couple months though. It was like, hey man, I got this new show. Give me a chance. I promise I'll give you a good interview. It'll be good quality. It'll be something you want to have in your repertoire and your resume that you can put out to other people like, hey, I got a great interview. And, a lot of people were receptive to it. Well, let's get it in. And some of them never got back to me on booking. Some of them were just like, no, I'm not interested. Some of them have since reached back out to me. And I'm like, fuck you, man. I gave you a chance. Right. You shot me down because I apparently wasn't big at that point or doing things. And now it's actually gaining some buzz and you want to come back on. Like, you can suck this meat.
Fuck yeah. Tell them.
Now, I wanted to ask you. So you recently ran some awards, and on the show for Replicon, you do the Replicon Awards every year. And I know there's some controversy on there with some of these fuckers cheating because I seen it firsthand myself. But overall, a lot of people were very passionate on it. There were people very much involved and really pushing it. And it's a great thing for the underground. But you always got to have a couple bad eggs in the bunch. And what are your thoughts on the competition itself? Some of the things that I just mentioned that were going on. Dora, why don't you give us kind of an overview of what those awards are and kind of what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So I guess so. Yeah, I mean, this the whole awards thing was something that I thought about years ago. Back in the day, I thought it would be dope. And then I remember when Fago Lover started doing it, and I was like, oh, that's dope. I'm glad somebody's doing it. And then when Replicon Radio started, I was like, oh, we should do it. I was like, it's dope because obviously one. Everyone's like, oh, you just do it for fucking attention. Yeah, fuck yeah, we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we do a radio show. We want people to know about it and see it. So if that, doing an award show brings people to our fucking page and learn about our show, yeah, yes, it's a good thing. But the biggest thing is it recognizes these people that aren't recognized. And
absolutely.
This was our third year. I mean, essentially me, Tony, Dead Body Man, and Big Roo, we decided, like, once Replicon Radio took the form that it is now, it's kind of what we look at as the beginning. Basically everything that I talked to up until this point, besides, the up into the weigh-in and the Kevin Gill and Vinny the ICP kid, everything before that doesn't count. Like, that was us figuring it out. Replicon started there, so we're in our third year. We just did the third awards, and it's doing what I wanted it to do. It's not all the way where I wanted to be. I want to get to the point where we have an actual awards show, like MTV. Maybe not. I mean, it'd be dope to be that big, but just to have, like, if Twisted's nominated, and Skippy Ickham's nominated, and fucking Mars is nominated, and Kung Fu Vampire is nominated. They're in the fucking audience waiting to see if they won.
That'd
and
be dope,
fucking
bro.
Performances. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody does. There's not really, technically, I guess there is kind of singles. You know what I mean? Like, people do performances, and, like, fans come, and they, Like, I want to get to that point at some point. That'd be sick.
It would be sick, man, and you would do it properly too, because there is a lot of other companies in the underground that do similar things, but they're so fucking biased. And in Pittsburgh, and I don't even know if it's still going on anymore, but for years there was the Puma Awards, the Pittsburgh Underground Music Awards, and it was so set up because another reason I say that, and you could say that I sound like someone who's just sour that I didn't win, and I'm not. I could care less about winning, but the thing is, I'm the fucking king of Pittsburgh underground hip-hop, and I have been for many years, and I'll tell anybody that I'd smash anyone in this city as far as lyrically or battle-wise, anything. And I never even got fucking nominated. And I know people nominated me. They even had an open cast box where you could jump in and nominate someone to be a category in it. And my ass still wasn't brought up in any of the nominations for years in a row. And I'm like, okay, fuck this company and their Underground Music Awards. And I haven't heard of it in a while. I don't know if they're still around or not. And if they are, they can blow me. But, there's a lot of companies that do that type of shit in the underground. And that's not cool. Whereas you guys are actually giving everyone a fair chance, getting people shine. And for any naysayers out there that are going to talk smack and say, oh, well, you guys are just doing it to get fucking views and likes on your page. Well, that is a big portion of it, and if you think that's something wrong with that, then you're a fucking moron, because that is what's called marketing. And if you don't know how to market, or you're talking shit on a company marketing, you're a fucking douche. So anybody out there talking shit on that is just uneducated, because that is the perfect way. Yes, you're helping people, but in return for helping them, you are growing and you're getting help. So kudos to you guys for what you're doing.
Yeah, to speak on that, because that's one thing. There's a lot of things that we don't talk about that we do on, like, for the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, I don't like talking about haters or the shit people say. Like, I just fucking ignore it and rise above it. And, like, people will talk about, like, oh, the views or the clicks or whatever, good or bad. But one thing we pride ourselves on not doing, and I purposely try not to do it, is like clickbaity type shit. Like, I don't, like, we have news actually happens on our show. Like, people fucking announce things or say things, and there's been a million fucking situations where I could put a fucking clickbaity title. It could even be true. It could be a true thing that happened, but it's clickbait. And that's not, I don't want you to listen to my show because of clickbait. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do that. Like, I could get a lot more fucking views if I fucking put some of the shit people say in our titles, and I don't want to do that. I don't want fucking negativity. I want people to fucking learn about artists. I want people to get to know people. I want to help spread awareness and a positive thing. You know what I mean? If we world premiere a song, yeah, I might fucking share that. I don't think that's clickbait. That's not so-and-so said this. Like, we did an ABK interview a couple years ago, and it spread all over the fucking Juggalo internet. Everybody took clips from our shows and made him clickbait when ABK talked about his check bouncing from Psychopathic and his van breaking down, which is why he wasn't in a video shoot, because nobody would go get him. You know what our shit says? Fucking ABK interview. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, listen to the fucking interview. Hear it from the fucking artist. Like, there's no reason for me to be like, oh my God, he's fucking talking shit on Psychopathic, but everybody else took it and ran with it. Which I didn't. I didn't get mad. I was like, cool. We're creating the news. Y'all fucking clickbait it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's more like integrity type shit than. Well,
that's what it should be,
like,
man.
yeah,
you put out the content, and it's up to you. Yeah, you put out the content. It's up to the fans to choose. Hey, if you want to grab something from it and post it around, make it viral, that's on you. We're just putting out good entertainment.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I want more views and I want more fucking subscribers, and the more the merrier, the more opportunities we have, and maybe we can actually make money. And I'd love to do it for a fucking full-time job, which a lot of people believe we do. I mean, it is a full-time job, but it doesn't pay the bills full-time job.
You know, I like that fantasy whenever people are like, oh man, you're doing great, bro. You're doing so much with music and so much. How's it feel to like that to be your job? And sometimes I tell them, like, bro, that's not my job. I still definitely have a career, and I do this all on top of that. But sometimes I fuck with people, and I'm like, oh man, it's a dream come true, brother. I'm like, I just sleep in every day. I get up, I do what I want. And they're like, I'm so jealous. And meanwhile, I'm like, dude, I'm busting this guy's balls so hard right now.
All right.
I wish. Maybe someday. That's the dream, brother. Maybe someday we'll all get to do this as a full-time thing. I would love to do the radio every single night. That'd be great.
Fuck yeah. That's the goal, man. But, like I you know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of things that happen and hate shit and blah, blah, blah. But me and fucking Rue and Dead Body Man, we talk about it. I'm like, we literally just had this conversation today. In the last 3 days, there's been some shit going on with some hater dude. And, I was like, it's so easy to retaliate. It's so easy to trash someone. Like, anger is just natural. Whether it's deserved, probably, but either way, it's easy. It's too simple. Like, fuck yeah, I can just trash you and do this or get mad or whatever. But we have to rise above it and fucking take the high road, even though it's harder in the end we'll still have our fucking integrity attacked. In the end, you know what I mean, people will someday notice that we always, you know, rose above the stupid shit and fucking maintained the proper path. And that's, you know what I mean, even though it's easier now, and maybe we could fucking be twice the size we are if we did something this way, but fuck shortcuts, fuck doing it that, like, we have to just fucking grit our fucking teeth and fucking man up and take the high road and fucking stay there, man, and just keep doing what we're doing. And I'm like, if we're, obviously these people are mad at us because we're doing something right. Like, we're getting their attention. Like, we just have to keep fucking doing what we're doing. And you know what I mean? We get little glimpses of things, and it's, you know what I mean? It's that's more valuable to me than anything. Or like when Jamie Madrox likes and comments on all my fucking posts, you know what I mean? Like that makes me feel good. Or Jelly Roll tells me he loves me, and you know what I mean? Like, and he busts into Louder Than Life Festival where we're doing press, and there's like 100 fucking like big name fucking syndicate stations and fucking newspapers, and he busts in the room and is like, "Where's Replicon Radio? Y'all are first on my list." You know what I mean? Like, that shit's fucking amazing to me, because those people see what we're doing. These are the people that we work hard for, and the artists in the underground that we want to shed a light on are starting to realize what we're doing, and they notice it, and they notice that we're doing it right, and we're not fucking doing shitty things, and we're out here in a positive light. So eventually everyone else is going to notice it too, so we just have to fucking continue on. I'm just fucking rant over.
Yeah, no, man. You guys have done well for yourselves, and it's still growing. It's still far from where it'll be, but it's far from where it has come. And I'm happy to see the climb. I'm happy to see the shockwaves you guys are making. And talking about that, we're certainly going to pick back up here in a minute about two different things. We're going to pick back up with some of the events that you guys have been hosting. We're going to pick back up on the merch game that you guys have out there and all the fun merch that people have been picking up lately from Replicon. But before we do that, we're going to jump into another song break here. If you're listening out there, don't go away. We'll be back in a couple minutes. This one is going to throw you for a loop a little bit. This is fully in Spanish, and this is Muerte Tan Dulce, and this is from Razakel. We'll be right back on Uncovering the Underground.
A medias de la noche cuando oyes pasos, debes saber que soy yo. Cuando sientas escalofríos por tu espalda, debes saber que soy yo. Quiero que sufras miserablemente, remueve tu corazón tan fácilmente y tan cruelmente, horriblemente. Yo soy la parca, gente me adora religiosamente. Vente, vente. Como un veneno mortal, este beso de la muerte es el final, y los demonios los dejarás entrar. Te mataré suavemente. Corre, corre rápido y bañaré en tu sangre. Tengo sed como un vampiro. Negras te siguen, soy yo. Si oyes susurros en tu oído, soy yo. No estás solo en la oscuridad, estoy aquí contigo, contigo, estoy aquí contigo. Sigues pidiendo y sigues suplicando, no quieres morir, estás llorando, estás perdiendo, no estás respirando, no estás soñando, estás sangrando. La muerte y la oscuridad, con mucho gusto te mostraré, no vas a aguantar. Dios los dejará entrar. Te mataré suavemente. Corre, corre rápido y bañaré en tu sangre. Tengo sed como un vampiro. Te mataré dulcemente. Ahora muérete, mi amor. Esta fiera tiene hambre para carne humana. Te mataré suavemente. Te mataré dulcemente. No vengas a buscarme. No vengas a buscarme. No vengas a buscarme. Sí, soy yo.
That's it, folks. You heard it. That's Myrte Tan Dolce from Razakel, Underground Queen of Horrorcore. We had her on quite a while back, but that was a great episode as well. So once again, you can jump back and check out that great interview. And that leads me to something I wanted to talk about. You guys host a lot of events and been doing really good as far as that goes as well. And I know one of the ones that you did host was, and it might have been both years, you'll have to correct me, but I know at least the first year you guys hosted Night of the Shrunken Heads in Indiana State.
We did. We sure did. That's when we met you, right? That's when I met you.
Yeah, we talked before that. The interview that we had was before then, but we met in person for the first time at that show.
In real life.
Yep, real life. We met at that night, yeah.
Yeah, me and Dead Body Man went out there. That shit was dope. Yeah, we came up and partied at the pre-party, or the first night, and then we hosted the second night or whatever.
So I didn't get to see the second night. I got to come and we did the pre-party the first night, me and a couple of my guys from my label, and then we had to head back. It was a long fucking journey. It was almost 8-hour drive, which isn't too bad, but I mean, it was an 8-hour drive there, 8-hour drive back, and we had a bunch of other shit going on. So we made it out and got to party with everybody the first night, but then we had to head back early the next morning. But it was great getting to meet you guys, all the great talent that night, meeting people like Hardjaws and stuff that I hadn't even really known much about prior to that, and then certainly became a fan afterwards, and then getting to party and play with Damian Quinn and Razakel again, which I've done many times. It's always good to get to hang out with those guys and have a good time.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. And now we didn't even know Shrunken Head Entertainment was a thing then. Like, they hadn't even announced it yet. They called it that festival, but they didn't announce Shrunken Head Entertainment yet.
That is correct. Yeah, they didn't. It was just, hey, come to Shrunken Head's, festival, and then next thing you know, they're like, okay, we're actually a label, and we got a bunch of artists, and they played us all.
It was dope. Yeah, it was hella dope, man. And we do some shows. We were doing like a series of concerts home. We done all kinds of dope shit, man. We did the Allah Zulu Almighty release party. That shit was amazing. We did Blaze's first and, as of now, only New Year's Eve party. That was fucking awesome. We did Attack of the Ninjas pre-party with fucking Drive-By. We did Axmas, which was my favorite. And next Saturday, March 7th, man, our first hosting gig of the year, the super famous Super Show, going down at fucking Carl's Tavern, which is a fucking phenomenal place.
I always heard good things. I've never been there, but constantly I'm seeing shows being there, and that's unfortunate. We did have to go home that next day, or else we would have got to experience Carl's. But I've heard from so many different people. I've had other guests on the show that have nothing to do with Razakel or any of those people or anybody really in the Juggalo scene that are completely separate styles of things that have rolled through there, and somehow Carl's has been brought up. And I'm like, this place keeps getting brought up by people of all different walks of life, and I'm like, that's fucking great. So shout out to Carl's for, putting on great shows.
Yeah, shout out to fucking Davis and Nettie. They're great people that own it. They're huge supporters of the underground. Like, that's why there's so much dope shows there. Yeah, we did the Shrunken Head Fest there. We did Nasty Bash 4 there, which they just announced 5, and it's fucking ridiculous too.
Shout out to Nasty Inc.
Yes. I got to host the Nasty Bash 4 mixtape, which I've never done before. That was fun.
Okay. That's great.
What else? Oh, we did a benefit. This is weird. We did a benefit show for the owners of Carl's Tavern. We booked the show. We promoted the show. And then we couldn't make it to the show because of this fucking, feet of snow on the ground. I had a busted-ass leg because my drunk ass fell down when we hosted Blaze's New Year's. Couldn't walk for 2 months. Don't even know what the fuck I did. So we couldn't even make it to the show. So shout out to Genosha X. She stepped up. She hosted the show that night and did our duties for us. Luckily I had everything like organized and planned and sent her the fucking list, and she took care of it. So that was cool. And then we're doing the super famous Super Show with the super famous Fun Time guys, Fans and the Hooligans, Mad Max, Aaron Romero, Nasty Ink, Young Ruck, Stig Monster, and Sonic Fright going down Saturday, March 7th. Carl's Tavern.
That's what's up. If you're in the area, folks, March 7th, stop into Carl's Tavern. It's a great time. They have great shows, from everything I've been told over the years, and obviously it speaks for itself from everything that P just said. But, even Indiana itself has some great shows. I've been out there. I've had some fun out there. Everybody that lives out there says it fucking sucks and it's a boring state, but they have some great shows. So, that's all that matters. And it's like Ohio. Ohio kind of sucks, but, they have some amazing fucking shows in Ohio. So, kudos to any place that still has a great underground scene and is keeping things going. That's awesome. Now, with us being limited on time. Yeah, book them. If you're looking for an event, book Replicon to come out and host your gig. It'll be a good time. They'll have fun, as they always do, and you'll certainly enjoy it. The fans will enjoy it. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit, P, about the merch that you guys have and what's been going on with that?
Oh, my God. We have so much merch, bro. We got merch on merch on merch. Fuck, I don't even know what to say. We have so much dopeness, and a lot of it's not even online yet because I have to update the website, but you can't fuck with our merch, man. We got jerseys, we got fucking shorts, fully sublimated shorts, jackets, dresses, shirts, fucking panties, booty shorts, whatever you want, man. We got everything in the fucking world except for hats. Don't get no hats.
If you want hats, you're out of luck, but if you want anything else, you're set.
If you got the hookup on dope hats, though, hit me up.
That's what's up, man. No, it's great to hear you guys have so much merch going on. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get the sites updated as far as merch stores go. Like, we update our site all the time, and I don't want to take any credit for it because my guys on my team, Demo Demon, is one of my big guys who helps keep the site going, and it's always looking very nice. He keeps it sharp, but one of the things that I personally am behind on and I could use his help on is the fucking online merch store. It's such a pain in the ass to always keep it updated on what sizes and what you have in stock. And so I kind of do it differently these days. Everybody gets their certainly gets their package that they ordered. I've never missed a package in my life, but it isn't on our merch store anymore. So people are like, what do you got? And I send them pictures of like 20 fucking items. And I'm like, I have all of them. What do you want? I'll send it. And they're like, do you have a merch store? I'm like, no, I took it down because fuck merch stores. That's why. But no, I need to get it back up.
We got a big cartel, but I ain't trying to pay for it. So it's fucking shady.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I
shady, but it's like, there's a list of like 5 items under one thing.
Yep, I had them at one point in time too, and it just got to be a fucking shit show, and I got rid of them, and then I was using some other company, and I can't even remember what the hell their name is right now, and it was a shit show, so I just took it down and said, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to do it like straight up old school bootleg. I'm like, I will fucking show you pictures of what I got, man. What do you want? And then I'll send it to you, but everybody's taken care of, so that's what's up, though. I'm glad to hear you guys got so much merch going on.
I just looked at your chat room for the first time. Shout out to everybody in the motherfucking chat. And these guys make up a great point. Speaking on merch, if you want Replicon merch, you need to join our Patreon because our Patreon is where it's at. Patreon, we have a T-shirt tier, which we have several people that are part of. It's $30 a month. You get all the Patreon perks that everybody else gets, like an extra episode of Replicon every month, access to our Discord, which is fucking the most obnoxious, amazing thing in the world. So basically, it's just a 24-hour chat room of everyone, of all of us, the hosts, and all of our Patreon members. And it's like a big, awesome family community, and everybody talks to each other and helps each other and annoys each other. But $30 a month, you can get that for $2 a month. But for $30, you get a T-shirt every fucking month, like a super exclusive T-shirt. A lot of times they're just custom for you. They might have your name on the back or different stuff. And then we'll do like super exclusive sublimated shirts, which cost more than fucking $30. So we don't do those very often because I lose money. But yeah, man, our Patreon's the shit. Patreon.com/RepliconRadio. You can get a T-shirt every month.
That's
You
what's
don't
up,
have to
man.
go to Walmart anymore. Got you.
That's pretty dope, man. That's cool that you guys are doing that. Make sure you subscribe and join their Patreon. If you join now, Freaky P will send you 3 nudes for the first 2 months.
Oh, why are you telling, man? That's fun.
Get it while you
I
can.
thought we weren't going to have anything to talk about, and there's so much stuff to get to when we're running out of time. Why
we
did
are.
you make your show shorter?
I don't know,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Listen up, folks. If you're listening out there, I apologize. I did make some changes. I mean, I'm not really sorry about making a change, but I'm apologizing if this is all new to you. We normally run it from 8 to 10:30 p.m., 8 to 9 uninterrupted underground music, 9 to 10:30 interviews. I've recently decided to consolidate them together, 8 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, being the interview and a few songs during it. There's just so much going on and so much that I run and manage that, I needed to consolidate time, and this was the best way to do it. And honestly, I think it's a better flow. I think more people are able to tune in from 8 to 9 than they are 9 to 10:30. So it just makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, the shows do go quick, but that just means, folks, if you're enjoying the show, you got to tell me that you want to have Freaky P back on sometime soon, and we'll certainly get him booked back for a second episode at some point down the road. Now, real quick, I do want to...
I have to bring the boys back with me.
That's it. Bring the boys with you. We'll have a crazy time.
Hell
The
yeah,
boys are
big real
back in
good.
town.
So I'm gonna tell you to shut up. No, I love you. I'm gonna back up to the original story though.
Yeah, finish the original story, please.
So if you just now tuned in, go back and listen to the beginning. But so yeah, that's kind of where everything. We decided we're gonna start doing the interviews. We started doing them. It was hard. Eventually we started doing all kinds of dope. I'll run through a list in a minute because we've had some fucking amazing interviews. That's just me saying nice things about me. That was the guest. So that became the focal point of the show. We started doing that. Obviously, that's when we started. We talked about changing the name like 100 times because it was a new thing. It wasn't what it was. You know what I mean? It literally had no connection to what it was. None of the people were involved except for One Eye. The format was different. Everything was different. You know what I mean? We had headphones. We had background music. We had things to do. We had plans. We had, you know what I mean? I had shit booked. But we didn't. We decided to stick with it. That's when I started the hashtag, the Replicon is watching, with the eye. That was, I'll toot my own horn for that. I felt like that was the most genius thing I did, and it's what fucking made the goddamn name in the beginning. So we started pushing the hell out of it. And then we started doing what we're doing now. Obviously, we've grown, even in our own communication with each other, and, as a team, we've grown a lot, and we've learned a lot. And then as we grew, we had issues with that studio. They tried to fucking rip us off. The owner of the studio got an LLC of Replicon Radio in his name and didn't tell anybody because he wanted to legally bind us to his studio. And the only reason we found out is because the studio got a piece of spam mail while we were there under Replicon Radio, and I was like, how the fuck would that happen? And then we looked it up and found out they did that. So then we had a lot of struggles with them, and they didn't like the fact that we had a RepliconRadio.com website. We just had Spreaker.com/98. It was a hard thing for people to find. So we just made a website, and we put the fucking embedded the fucking player, so it was easy for people to find that we could promote RepliconRadio.com all day long instead of episode number, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't like that, and we were just butting heads, and then that shit happened, and we were trying to leave, but we didn't have the money. Again, we were kind of back to where I was, we can't afford mics, we can't afford mixers, we can't afford computers, I don't have any money. So eventually we got into a huge fucking fight. We showed up for the following Monday, and they had locked us out. So we're like, sweet. And we had they made us sign a contract saying we'd be there for a year, blah blah blah. So we didn't want to get out of that contract. And then they locked us out, which broke the contract. And but I was like, we're not fucking canceling the show. So we rushed to fucking Dead Body Man's house, set up a fucking computer and a fucking sound bar because that's all we fucking had. And we did our first ever show on YouTube because we didn't even use YouTube before. And we had a Scum interview. in fucking Dead Body Man's kitchen live on YouTube, and it's so terrible because Scum is like the deepest voice in the world, and we're on a fucking sound bar attached to a computer because we were not gonna miss a show.
That's crazy.
And then a homie of mine, he does a lot of tech stuff. He basically funded us. Like, he heard about what happened. He saw me, like, complaining on the internet and shit. And he was like, bro, what the fuck's going on? I explained to him. He's like, I got you. And he literally took us to Guitar Center, bought all the equipment that we're currently using still, put us up in his basement, and then that was the day Replicon Radio became its own entity. Like, we owned everything. We had the equipment. We had our own stream because we were running on their stream previously. And everything started anew right then with the four of us. We had Isham on. It was the first interview as independent people. And then One Eye had some personal issues. He stopped coming to the show. We all paid dues monthly to, like, maintain the show and pay for the stream and all this different thing. Well, he stopped paying for 3 or 4 months, and then he stopped showing up for 3 to 4 months, and we're like, bro, you're like $200-$300 behind. We have all this stuff going on. Like, we need to come back. And he's like, I can't. There's a whole big thing there. There was some drama surrounding it for a while. Everybody said we kicked him off. We never kicked him off. He quit coming. And then it got to the point where it was like, dude, we're moving so fast and so far. Like, if you can't keep up, we have to keep going without you. And, like, he agreed. And that's why One Eye was no longer on the show. So I got mad love for One Eye. We still see him at concerts. We hug it out. We tell each other we love each other. We hang out. He's a good dude. So I don't want anyone to think I was talking bad about him. We're doing something and we're moving fast, and you know what I mean. He had other things going on. I don't know what, but you know what I mean. So we just had to keep going, and we're still going to this day. And the homie Nick's paid off. Everything's paid off. We own our equipment. We own our website. We own our stream. We started doing YouTube, like, seriously, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we're pumping that shit out, and we're going to keep going, man. Bigger, stronger, faster. Yes. Words.
That's all you can do, brother. And I mean, like you said, not everyone that's there for the beginning of the journey can be there at the end of the journey. I mean, if it's a long, rocky road, you're going to lose a few people along the way. People are going to fall off. I mean, it's part of what it is, and it's no hate against them, but, you know, sometimes things start out as fun, but you're pushing to be serious, and as it starts to get more serious, some people are like, oh, shit, this is a little bit more time-consuming, a little harder than I was planning it to be, and then it kind of start to back off, and then sometimes there are hard feelings if you have to make a decision.
Was never one of say I'm doing what he did. Serious was never one of his things. He liked to talk over. He liked to yell, say weird shit. One time he got the fuck's that dude's name? Damn it! Fucking Misery's buddy. I don't know. But anyway, he gave me a question to ask the guy in an interview that was not. It was meant to piss him off, and I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize what I was saying, and it was like he would purposely do shit to piss people off. And I was like, dude, we're trying to run a professional thing here. Like, when we can joke and laugh with each other and even talk a little shit because it's us, but not like when we have a guest on, like, we need to be at least semi-professional. I mean, we joke around with guests too. It's not like fucking serious, but it's like, you know what I mean? We're not interrupting them. We're not fucking saying ignorant things just to piss them off or try to get a rise out of them. That's not the goal here. We're trying to get, have fun, but actually get information, get to know people, talk about whatever we need to talk about. And he didn't understand that. He was too busy fucking drinking his beer. And obviously I've mentioned drinking several times. I enjoy the drink, and if you catch me out at an event, I'm probably drinking and having a good time and, being part of the party. But at the show, no. I'm 100% sober. I have a fucking interview to do. I have to take it seriously. I got fucking research. You know what I mean? Sometimes hours of fucking research. So, you know what I mean? Like, this shit's serious. It's fun, but it's serious. And, you know what I mean? And we had to keep going in that direction, and that's where we are now.
No, and
it's working.
It's been a great climb, man. Like you said, I mean, you learn things along the way. You get rid of old habits that you had once that were fun, and you still have fun, but you say, you know what, it's becoming more serious, so therefore I have to become more serious. And then you guys certainly, your guests speak for its, your show for itself. I mean, it really explains the caliber you guys bring, and I mean, you've had some amazing guests on the show, and it's certainly, like I said, something to be respected, and it's honorable. So much love to you on that end. We are running out of time, so I want to fire, let's say, 2 quick questions at you, and then I'm going to let you wrap up with one other thing that I want to bring up. Now, if you had all that time back, P, if you had all the time back that you put into the Replicon and to the radio in general, into building this empire that you've built, what would you put it into if you had one other thing to put it into?
Holy shit. I can't just choose the same thing.
No, it has to be something else. If you had to pick one other thing to put all those hours, all that blood, sweat, and tears and energy and time into, what would it be?
Actually, it's kind of an easy question. Well, I guess this is just, okay. Obviously, if I did it, I'd have the money to do it. So I'd put it into this magical, amazing thing I always wanted to have, which is like a concert venue slash restaurant slash storefront, like old school music store collectible, because those type of stores don't actually make money anymore, but with the fucking dope ass venue, bar, restaurant attached to it, it would. So I would have a collective of all those things, and then I'd still probably have a podcast studio in the back. So that's something I would definitely put time and effort in, and maybe someday I still will.
I like it. No, I like the answer. Now, second question: if you had to pick one lesson that you learned along the way that you don't regret it because it helped shape who you are and what you've become and what your company's become, but looking back, you sure as fuck would never do it again. What's the one big lesson that you learned that certainly stuck with you?
One big lesson I learned. God. This is what people feel like when I put them on the spot on the show, huh?
That's it. That's the feeling right there.
Let's see. One lesson I learned along the way. As terrible as it sounds, I would say my blind trust in humanity is the one thing I regret, because I always, and I'm going to do it again. It's going to happen again, I promise. But yeah, I generally try to believe people are good and they have good intentions, especially when they come at you as though they're your friend or they're there to help you or they're on your side. But then majority of the time I come to find out they're not. And most people are just out for self, regardless of how they pretend. So that's definitely a lesson I'm still learning.
Yeah, you always learn, man. It's not something throughout your life you continue to learn. You keep putting trust into people and they keep fucking you. But you know what? If you're someone who has a big heart, you still want to try to believe in the good in people. I've certainly been burnt many times myself. So I completely get it. And, more often than not, we actually get that answer from a lot of people saying, I just put my trust into people I shouldn't have, that wasted a lot of my time. But that is a common answer. I think a lot of us have experienced that. Now, I'm going to get ready to close this out, and then I'm going to make my last closing statements. But we're going to close this out in, I think, a funny and true fashion. We're going to kind of do this Replicon style. If you were trapped on an island.
Oh, fuck.
What 3 albums are you picking, brother?
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
All right. Well, I've had a couple of years to think about this question. And just like everyone else that has to answer this shit to me, it probably changes. But I think I'm good on this. It would probably be Dark Lotus, Tales from the Lotus Pot.
Great album.
It would be Taking Back Sunday, Tell All Your Friends.
Okay.
And Michael Jackson's History, the double disc. Great.
Okay. That's kind of a surprise, curveball there. I wasn't exactly expecting that, but I like it.
I have a Michael Jackson tattoo.
Oh, do you? Okay. That's what's up. No, Michael Jackson's a beast, man. I mean, or was a beast. Certainly no one in the world will ever be able to dance like him. He certainly had a ton of great hits. Unfortunately, a very troubled past, but he still, throughout all the things he experienced, became a mega star and, will be a legend 100 years from now when we're all long and, dead and gone. People will always remember the name Michael Jackson. So, can't ever take that away from him.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Someone said you should see him sing to it.
To Michael?
Yeah, someone just left a comment says you should see him sing to it.
Oh, I did. We did. Well, they're not over, but we did like a concert series in St. Louis to Total Extinction shows, and one of them we were doing like karaoke or something in between, and I literally did like a whole. I've done a Michael Jackson, and I did fucking NSYNC Bye Bye Bye. I think it's terrible.
That is, someone just said, yeah, and don't forget the NSYNC. Someone just said that's funny, so they're right on page with you. No, that's what's up. I like it, brother. I wish I could have seen it, but well, I'll tell you what, man. Why don't you tell us where?
Hold on, don't end it. Don't end it yet. Hold on. I want to plug something. Well, I obviously want to plug the show, but besides Replicon Radio, every Friday I do a show on Replicon Radio's YouTube. Go subscribe now. It's called The Daily Dino. It's not daily, but the original idea was it could be daily. The original idea was it could be daily, so we have another, Replicon Radio is once a week, but I do a lot of side interviews and different stuff on top of the show. You know what I mean? So you'll get Replicon on Monday, and then another interview will drop on Wednesday, and then we'll drop a movie review, and then we'll drop an interview with the actor and the director from that movie. So there's a lot more stuff going on than just our main show. And then I wanted a place like when Chris Calico announced he re-signed, I announced it on the Daily Dino. And then the next day we announced like the record and all that stuff. But every Friday, no matter what, regardless of if there is any other day of the week, I do the Daily Dino. People submit shit, and I make sure everybody knows about all the new releases because it's so hard, especially with all the algorithms and different stuff on every sort of platform. So like, if you're an artist, first of all, and you have a record or a single or a video dropping, shoot us an email that week to the Replicon is watching at Gmail, and we'll announce it on the show. But I go through everything I know about, and we got some of our Patreons, Seamus in Canada, is sending us Canadian music. Heather is sending us some different underground genres I didn't know about. So anybody else out there, whoever you are, if you have something coming out each week, I go through it and I tell people about the new singles, the new albums, the new videos. Regardless if I like them or you like them or whatever the fuck it is, at least you have that information. And I want more people to know that we're doing that because I want people to know about the music so that way everyone has an opportunity to listen and enjoy new stuff.
That's what's
up,
And
it's also on Spotify, too. It's its own show on Spotify. Just Daily Dino, but it's live on Replicon Radio's YouTube every Friday.
Well, check it out on YouTube, check it out on Spotify, and make sure you subscribe to it, like it, and follow it. It would mean a lot to Freaky P, it would mean a lot to the guys and gals at Replicon, would mean a lot to all of us. Support the underground, support people who are doing a lot for the underground. And why don't you tell us real quick, P, where we can check out anything else that you want to plug real quick, what pages you're on, Instagram, Facebook, any of that stuff, and let us know who you'd like to thank, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Absolutely. RepliconRadio.com. You can find everything there, essentially. There's links. There's links to our Teespring where you can buy merch. There's links to our Big Cartel where you can also buy merch. Yeah, we're that dope. We got 2 merch sites. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Replicon_radio. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/RepliconRadio. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, all that shit, everywhere you can listen to music. The live show is every Monday night, 6 to 10 p.m. Central Time. And then, like I just said, we got tons of shit on our fucking YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. That's, like I said, we started pushing it recently. All of our episodes are on there. We're also now live on there Mondays as well, not just on our website. We're also live on YouTube. There's movie reviews. There's concert content. There's even more stuff coming we're talking about. Extra interviews, all kinds of dopeness. And shout out to all of our Patreons. We fucking love you guys. Everyone should join. And I don't know, man. Check out the fucking show and tell us what you think. We got lots of dope shit. This past Monday we had Ritual of Ether on, and then we even had Sevademic drop in to announce his brand new album, and we got to world premiere a song, which is still the only place you can get it until March 6th is by listening to Replicon Radio, and it's fucking amazing. So go check that out. I don't know, man. We got lots of shit coming. Next Monday, the J Hex Project. We got Zitro coming up on the show. We got Godsend coming back. We got all kinds of dope shit coming up, man. But I don't know. There's so many things I want to talk about that we've done in the past, but go find out for yourself. If you're a fan of the underground, if you're a fan of pop culture, if you're a fan of horror, we got it. Go back, listen, check it out. And if there's somebody you want to see or you think would be dope, hit us up. You can always hit us up on any social medias. I check them all. Or you can email us at therepliconswatching@gmail.com. And if you want to follow me personally, I'm on everything at FreakyP314. But I suggest you just follow Replicon Radio instead of me.
Well, there you go, folks. He gave you a nice list, certainly, to follow, and make sure you like and follow all of those. There's always a lot of great content coming out, and you don't want to miss it. With that being said, I did want to tell you about a couple of the things we got coming up here on UTU. On next week's show, on the 5th of March, we have underground hip-hop artist Jay Caulfield. The following week, on the 12th, we do have the devilishly delicious Layla Page. She's a model for my company, Brutal Business. The following weekend, we have another model who's not on my label. We have the seriously sexy Amanda Monet. And then the following week, we have Pennsylvania hardcore metal band Makeshift Urn. So we got some great shows, 5th, 12th, 19th, and 27th, every Thursday, 8 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Share it around. Tell your friends. If you like tonight's episode, make sure you go back and listen to it from the beginning. If you didn't hear it from the beginning, make sure you tell your friends and spread it around. We would really appreciate it. Other than that, we want to thank our sponsors once again, Roush Designs, Legion Artworks, 5 Milligram Artworks, R3 Graphics, and of course, TattooedScumbag.com. Check them out. BBE10 will get you 10% off your overall order, and you'll certainly love the merch that they give you guys. So without further ado, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight, Freaky P, and I look forward to obviously having you on again sometime down the road. It was a great time.
Hell yeah, man. Always, brother. Thank you. I assume I heard you were quitting, but I assume you have all these guests lined up. You're not going anywhere. So.
Well, I had to change some things around. So the radio's not going anywhere. I was giving it some serious thought because some different changes I was making. But no, the radio is staying. With the new time change, it'll be able to make things happen. Musically, though, yes, folks, I am retiring from the music side. So at least with Skippy Yickham. I still have a hip-hop group that I just announced that we formed. So Skippy Yickham will still be involved with rap in the group, but I'm dropping 3 albums this year as Skippy Yickham. They'll be my last 3 albums, at least for a good while, but we do have some other things on the horizon, like the reformation of my old death metal band that was quite big at one point in time called Souls of Ares. So be looking for me on the metal side, be looking for my rap group. Even though Skippy Yickham will be kind of simmering down after these 3 album drops this year, I will still be releasing singles from time to time and still playing shows from time to time. So there's some switching up, but certainly stay focused with everything we have to do at teambrutalbusiness.com, and we'll certainly see you at an event or something sometime soon.
Hell yeah.
All right, folks, we'll catch you next time. You have a great night, and everyone be safe out there. Take care, P. Have a good one.